The morning sun felt wrong. It was too quiet. I woke up slowly, stretching my arms out. Usually I could hear my mom in the kitchen. The sound of clanking pans was my alarm clock. Or my dad would have the news on, the volume just a little too loud. But today there was nothing. Just silence. A heavy, thick silence that felt like a blanket over the house. I called out, "Mom? Dad?" My voice sounded small, swallowed by the emptiness. I sat up in bed, my heart starting to beat a little faster. Something wasn't right. This wasn't just a quiet morning, it was a deserted one. I swung my legs over the side of the bed and walked out of my room. The hallway was empty. Their bedroom door was open, the bed perfectly made. It looked like no one had even slept in it. I went downstairs, my footsteps echoing on the wooden stairs. The kitchen was spotless. No coffee brewing, no half-eaten toast on a plate. It was like a picture in a magazine, not our home. I checked every room, my calls for them getting more desperate. The house felt like a stranger's house now, cold and unfamiliar. It was my home, but my family was gone. My hands started to shake, so I grabbed my phone from my pocket. I needed to call someone, anyone. I tried my mom's number first. No answer, just a weird static sound on the other end. Then I tried my dad's, the same thing. It wasn't even ringing, it was just dead air. Panic started to creep in, cold and sharp. I tried to call 911, but the phone just buzzed in my hand. Then the screen flickered. It went from black to a bright, blinding white light. I couldn't look away. It felt like the light was pulling me in, a force I couldn't fight against. The world around me started to warp and twist. The familiar walls of my kitchen seemed to melt away like wax. The light grew brighter and brighter until I couldn't see anything at all. It was like being underwater and looking up at the sun. I felt a strange pulling sensation, like a giant magnet was dragging me forward. I squeezed my eyes shut, dizzy and scared. My home, my safe place, was dissolving around me. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I was leaving everything behind. The silence of my empty house was replaced by a rushing sound, the sound of being taken away against my will. When the light finally faded, I was lying on the ground. It was cold and hard, not the warm wooden floor of my kitchen. I blinked, my eyes adjusting to a dim, artificial light. I was in a huge warehouse-like room. It was massive, bigger than any place I had ever seen. There were rows and rows of bunk beds stacked high against the walls, reaching up to the ceiling, and I wasn't alone. There were people everywhere, hundreds of them, all wearing the same green tracksuit with a white number stitched onto the chest. I looked down at my own clothes. I was wearing one too. My number was 218. Everyone looked as confused as I felt. People were murmuring, looking around with wide, scared eyes. Some were crying softly, others were shouting, demanding to know where they were. I stood up, my legs feeling a bit wobbly. I needed to find a familiar face, someone I knew. My eyes scanned the massive crowd, a sea of green and white. Then I saw him, across the room, looking just as lost as me. "Alex?" I shouted, my voice cracking a little. He turned his head, and his eyes widened when he saw me. It was my best friend, Alex. He pushed his way through the crowd, and I did the same. We met in the middle, and for a second we just stood there, a weird sense of relief washing over us. "Glenn, what is happening? Where are we?" he asked, his voice shaking. I shook my head. I have no idea. I was at home, and then this bright light. He nodded. "Me too. I was just playing a video game in my room." We looked at each other, the same fear mirrored in our eyes. Whatever this was, we were in it together. "Okay," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. "We stick together, no matter what." Alex agreed immediately. Having him here made things feel slightly less terrifying. It was still a nightmare, but at least I wasn't facing it alone. We promised to watch each other's backs. As we were talking, a loud buzzer sounded through the room, making everyone jump. A door at the far end of the warehouse slid open, and figures in pink jumpsuits with black masks marched in. They held large guns and stood in a line, creating a path. They looked like something out of a scary movie. Then another person walked through the door. This one wore all black and a different mask, a terrifying geometric one that hid their entire face. The figure in the black mask stepped onto a small platform, looking down at all of us. The room fell completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. The masked person's voice came through a speaker, distorted and chilling. "Welcome, players!" it boomed, the sound echoing off the high ceiling. "I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to all of you." The voice was calm, almost polite, but it sent shivers down my spine. It was the kind of calm that comes before a storm. I grabbed Alex's arm, my knuckles turning white. This was real. This was happening. All of you are currently facing insurmountable debts and desperate situations, the voice continued. We are offering you a chance to change your lives, a chance to walk away with a prize money that will solve all your problems. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some people looked hopeful, others looked even more scared. The masked boss explained that there were 456 of us in total. 456 people, all trapped in this strange place. He told us we would play 6 games over 6 days. If we won all 6 games, we would win the prize. It sounded too simple. There had to be a catch. The rules were then projected onto a large screen behind the masked figure. Rule 1. A player is not allowed to stop playing. Rule 2. A player who refuses to play will be eliminated. Rule 3. Games may be terminated if the majority agrees. The word eliminated hung in the air. It sounded so final, so clinical. Alex whispered to me, "What do they mean, eliminated?" I didn't have an answer. I just had a very bad feeling growing in the pit of my stomach. This wasn't just a game. It was something much more sinister. The masked figures in pink then began to lead us out of the warehouse. They guided us through a series of bizarre, colorful hallways that looked like a child's playground designed by a madman. The bright colors felt wrong, a cruel joke compared to the fear we all felt. We were herded into another massive room, this one designed to look like an outdoor field under a fake blue sky. At one end stood a giant, creepy-looking doll of a little girl. "Your first game," the distorted voice announced from hidden speakers, "is red light, green light." My heart sank. I knew this game, but I had a feeling the rules were about to change. Perfect. The rules were explained over the loudspeaker. They were simple, just like the game we played as kids. When the giant doll turned its back and sang, we could run towards the finish line. When it stopped singing and turned its head around, we had to freeze. If its motion-detecting eyes caught any movement, we would be eliminated. The word echoed again, heavier this time. I looked at Alex. "Just stay close to me," I said. "We do exactly what they say. Don't move a muscle." He nodded, his face pale. The air was thick with tension. Everyone was looking at the doll, waiting. Then it began. The doll's head turned to face the wall, and a creepy, childlike song started playing. Red light, green light. The moment the song started, chaos erupted. A wave of players surged forward, a desperate stampede. Alex and I moved with them, but cautiously. We ran a few steps and then prepared to stop. The song was short. Suddenly it stopped. The doll's head snapped around to face us. We all froze. I held my breath, my muscles screaming in protest. Then, I heard a loud crack, like a gunshot. A man in front of us who had stumbled and couldn't stop in time fell to the ground. Panic swept through the crowd like a fire. People started screaming. A woman near me cried out, "He's just pretending! This is a trick!" She turned and started running back towards the entrance. Another shot rang out, and she fell too. It wasn't a trick. Eliminated meant exactly what we feared. This wasn't a game, it was a death sentence. The doll turned its back again, and the song started. No one moved for a second, paralyzed by fear. Then, a few brave souls started running, and the rest of us followed, our movements jerky and terrified. During the next green light, a young girl tripped right beside me. She was about to fall as the doll was turning. Without thinking, I reached out and grabbed her arm, steadying her just as the song stopped. We both froze, my arm still outstretched. The doll's eyes scanned the field. For a moment, I thought we were safe, but then a shot rang out, and the girl I had tried to save crumpled to the ground. She hadn't moved. I hadn't moved. Why? It wasn't fair. They eliminated her anyway. The game wasn't just cruel, it was rigged. I survived the first round, crossing the finish line with Alex, but my mind was reeling. This was a place with no rules, no fairness, only survival. And I had no idea how we were going to make it through.